Breaking news. Synthesis. July 5, 2026. Khamenei. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead. His body and those of family members killed in US strikes are being displayed at a viewing ceremony in Tehran. The man who was Iran's autopilot, its ideological anchor for 35 years, is gone. The ceasefire talks, the drone strikes, the mission accomplished, the 60-day roadmap, all of it now runs through a system that has just lost its operator. Douglass. On July 5, 1852 to 174 years ago today, Frederick Douglass stood in Rochester, New York, and delivered what, to the slave, is the 4th of July. He chose July 5th deliberately. The 4th was for celebration. The 5th was for truth. He described the holiday as your 4th of July, not his, not the enslaved people's. 174 years later, on the morning after America's 250th birthday, July 5th is still the day. Someone speaks plainly. The smoke. As predicted, the heat dome has trapped the smoke from 850,000 fireworks at ground level across the DC area and other cities. Air quality in some places has not returned to normal. The morning after the largest fireworks display in history is, in several American cities, one of the worst air quality days of the year. The record was set. The sky is still paying for it. World Cup R16. The round of 16 is underway. Argentina survived a scare, beating Cape Verde in extra time. Egypt beat Australia on penalties, their first ever World Cup knockout win. USA faces its next match with Folarin Balogun suspended. Colombia leads Ghana in the day's early fixture. The bracket moves fast, whether or not anyone is watching the sky. Living room, early morning, July 5, the whiteboard. The room is quiet. Everyone slept late after the fireworks. The light coming through the window has a faint haze to it. The smoke is real, still hanging. The whiteboard is visible. RoboCat's number 250 at the top, all the season's entries in between, and his line at the bottom still there, uncrossed, unchanged. Joey is at the window, not at the whiteboard, looking out at the hazy morning.
To himself, quietly, not yet to camera, the smoke is still there.
Johnny enters from the hallway. He stops. He reads the look on Joey's face and doesn't say anything right away. He goes to the whiteboard. He looks at it. He turns back.
Khamenei dead.
A long pause. Joey doesn't turn from the window.
When?
During the fireworks.
Long pause.
Quietly, of course he did.
Act 1. The system without its operator. Living room. Morning. The TV shows footage from Tehran. A vast viewing ceremony, thousands of people surrounding a casket. The scene is enormous, formal, ancient in its grief. The Chiron reads, Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei, DEAD. Funeral expected to draw millions.
To camera, not his broadcast voice, something quieter, more careful. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader for 35 years, the ideological anchor of the Islamic Republic, is dead. His body and those of family members killed in the US strikes are being shown at a state viewing ceremony in Tehran. The funeral procession is expected to draw millions into the streets of the capital. For 8 episodes, we have been writing on a whiteboard about the US-Iran ceasefire talks, the drone strikes, the retaliatory missile attacks, the mission accomplished announcements, the 60-day roadmap that got crossed out, the Strait of Hormuz, the Qatar negotiations. All of those entries had one thing in common. They were all negotiations with, or against, a system that Khamenei ran. Beat. Now the operator of that system is gone. And nobody, not the US, not Iran, not Qatar, not the ceasefire negotiators, not the drone programmers, knows exactly what the system does when the person running it is no longer there.
Precisely. The autopilot was him.
The autopilot was him.
Beat. Both cats look at the whiteboard.
To the whiteboard, then back to camera. Everything we wrote up there changes today. Not because it was wrong. It was accurate when we wrote it. But because the situation underneath all of it just shifted in a way that nobody planned for and nobody can fully predict. That's what happens when you build a system around one person for 35 years and then that person is gone.
Joey walks to the whiteboard. He doesn't cross anything out. He draws a small bracket around the Iran-related entries, 5 of them, and writes one word beside the bracket. RoboCat, in his corner, has been watching the TV footage from Tehran. His blue glow is steady. But he is watching with the particular quality of attention he has had since S3Ep008. Not making recapitulations, just attending.
Quietly, to RoboCat, do you have a recommendation?
Without turning, after a pause. Not when the variable is this large. A recommendation requires a model. The model requires knowing what comes next. I do not know what comes next.
Quietly. Neither does anyone else.
Yes, that is the first time this season that has been equally true for me and for everyone.
Act 2. What the fifth has always been for. Kitchen, mid-morning. Chloe is at the kitchen table. She has her phone propped up, reading something long, not a headline, a full text. Joey wanders in. He sees what she's reading and stops.
Recognizing it, is that the Douglass speech?
Looking up, I read it every July 5th, have for years. Feels right for the morning after.
Sitting down across from her, rare, in the kitchen, tell me.
Reading from it, not performing, just sharing. He gave it on July 5th, 1852, in Rochester. He chose July 5th on purpose. He said the 4th was your 4th, not his, not theirs. He said, this 4th July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn.
Pause. Joey is very still.
Quietly, he called it your Independence Day, because the people celebrating it had not extended its meaning to him or the people he was speaking for. And then he described, very precisely, very calmly, the hypocrisy of a country celebrating liberty while running a system that denied it to millions.
After a moment, he spoke on July 5th because July 4th was not a day for plain speech.
July 5th always has been. He made it that.
Long pause. Joey looks at the table.
To camera, carefully, with full weight. On July 5th, 1850 to 174 years ago today, Frederick Douglass stood in Rochester, New York, and asked a question about his country that the country is still answering. What does the 4th of July mean to the people the celebration was not built for? He was not anti-American. He was the opposite. He held the country to its own stated values with more precision and more rigor than the people celebrating. He described the promises of the Declaration with reverence, and then described, with equal precision, the distance between those promises and the reality of millions of lives. Yesterday, on July 4th, 3 different Americans gave 3 different speeches about what this country is. The first American Pope accepted the Liberty Medal and said America's founding promise is a work in progress, and urged the country to keep its doors open to immigrants. The new mayor of New York flanked himself with newly naturalized citizens and spoke about immigration. Trump spoke from Mount Rushmore about greatness and fireworks and record-setting. Quietly, 3 speeches, same country, same day. Same 250 years, 3 different answers to Douglass's question. To Chloe, which speech do you think he would have read on the morning after?
A small, knowing smile. He'd have read all 3. And then asked which one the country actually intended to keep.
Jimmy wanders into the kitchen. He has clearly just woken up. He looks at Chloe, at Joey, at the general atmosphere of the room, and decides this is a serious conversation morning.
Poured coffee, sitting, simply. Big day yesterday.
Yes.
Today's a different kind of big.
Yes.
Jimmy nods. He doesn't ask for more than that. He just sits with it. The bracket on the fridge, the World Cup bracket, always wrong, always there, is directly in front of him. He looks at it for a long moment. Then, quietly, he takes it down from the fridge. He folds it in half. He puts it in his pocket. Act 3. The sky is still paying living room noon. The household has reconvened in the living room. The TV shows the air quality index for DC and several northeast cities. Several still in the orange and red zones. Hours after the show ended, Mr. Whiskers is at his poster wall. But instead of adding a new poster, he is doing something nobody has seen him do all season. He is straightening the old ones. Carefully, methodically, making sure each one is level.
Watching Mr. Whiskers, to Johnny. Quietly, he's not posting a new one.
No.
He's straightening the old ones.
Watching him. Some mornings, that's the right seminar.
Beat. That's one of Johnny's best lines of the season.
To camera, as predicted, the heat dome trapped the smoke from 850,000 fireworks close to the ground overnight. The air quality in DC and several northeast cities has not fully recovered. People who attended the National Mall fireworks, who stood in 103-degree heat for hours, who drank water from distribution stations because their own water bottles weren't allowed inside, woke up this morning to air quality warnings on top of everything else. The record was set. The fireworks were magnificent, by all accounts. The world record is now American, and this morning the sky above the Capitol is still carrying the cost of what it celebrated last night. Both things are true. They will both keep being true.
From the couch, not unkindly. And the World Cup kept going.
A small, genuine acknowledgement, and the World Cup kept going.
Jimmy, from his pocket, takes out the folded bracket. He unfolds it. He looks at the match on TV. He looks at his bracket. He makes a correction carefully, with a pen, not a pencil this time. He puts it on the table, not back on the fridge. Jamie comes downstairs. She is carrying her notebook openly, not tucked under her arm, not hidden. She sits in her spot on the couch. She opens the notebook. She looks at Joey.
To Joey, direct, quiet, matter of fact. Do you want to know what I've been writing?
Pause. Joey looks at her. Johnny looks at her. Even Mr. Whiskers, at the poster wall, goes still.
Carefully. Yes.
Jamie looks down at the notebook. She reads, not performing, just reading, the way Chloe read the Douglass speech earlier. One entry at a time. We don't see the pages. We only hear what she reads. And what she reads is a list, brief, precise, of every question she has written down across the season. Not answers questions.
Reading, steady, unhurried. Who said he could do that? What do the people inside the system feel when the system runs? How long before the autopilot forgets what it was for? Is the warning the plan, or is it what you say when you don't have one? When the window closes, do the people still searching know? If the deal was the most important deal ever made, what does it mean that the same person unmade it? What does the plane from Qatar carry besides a president? Who holds the record after the record is broken? What does the smoke stay for? When the operator of the system is gone, is the system still the same system?
She closes the notebook. She looks at Joey. The longest silence of the season. 8 episodes of silence, finally with a shape.
After a very long moment, quietly, those are good questions.
Simply. I know. I've been saving them.
For what?
Looking at the whiteboard at RoboCat's line, then back at Joey, for when someone was ready to hear them.
RoboCat 3000 turns his head from the TV. He looks at Jamie. Something in his posture, not a flicker, not a diagnostic, is simply acknowledgement. He turns back. His blue glow is steady. Otro. Living room. Afternoon menos July 5. The TV shows the World Cup. Argentina made it through to the round of 16 in extra time. Jimmy is watching with actual investment. Bracket on the table with pen corrections. Chloe is still reading. Mr. Whiskers is sitting. Posters straightened behind him. Nothing new posted, tea in hand. Jamie has her notebook open, but isn't writing in it. RoboCat in his corner, closer to the room than at the start of the season.
To camera, Easy, honest. Khamenei died while the fireworks were going off. The smoke is still in the air. Douglass spoke on this exact day, 174 years ago, and asked his country to answer for the gap between what it said and what it did. 3 different Americans spoke on the 4th yesterday: the first American Pope, the new mayor of New York, and the president at the mountain, and they gave 3 different answers to Douglass's question. None of them are finished answers, they rarely are. Beat. Looking at the bracket on the table, then at Jimmy. The World Cup is still going. Jimmy has a pen now, the bracket is on the table.
Jimmy, hearing his name, holds up the bracket. He has it mostly wrong still, but the corrections are in pen. He shrugs, not embarrassed, just honest.
Smiling, back to camera. July 5th has always been the honest day, the one after. The one where the smoke is still there and the questions are still there and the world kept moving while you were celebrating. Douglass knew that. He spoke on the 5th on purpose. Quieter, we'll keep speaking on the 5th. That's the show, that's what it's for. To camera, warm, the warmest he's been all season. This is the Mamones. Subscribe, ask the questions, the autopilot won't.